Hi everyone, and welcome to my next video tutorial, which is going to be focused on styling our Django UI with Kubi. So let's go on ahead and get started. So as you can see here on my screen, here is a sample here of how you can go on ahead and take a look at the Kubi interface for your Django admin. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go on ahead and set all of this up. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing that you need to have, as always, is a Django project that you want to work with. As you can see here, I have a Django project here up and running. I also have it open up in Visual Studio Code as well. So make sure you've got your project ready, and let's get started. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go on ahead and follow the steps here according to the documentation. And this is, of course, stated here in the GitHub repository of this library here. There is like an installation guide here. So I will zoom in, and I will be sure to also go on ahead and ensure that I attach this link in the description of this video. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install Kubi. So it's known as Django Admin Kubi formerly. So we can go ahead and copy that line of code, and you want to head on over to your command prompt, and you can just say pip install Django Admin Kubi. So let's do that. Okay. So it will just take a moment to install this library, and we're almost there. And then we can just continue with the next set of steps to install this Django admin theme. So all we need to do now is just be a little bit patient as it installs the collected packages accordingly. So there we go, it has been installed, perfect. Next, we need to add admin Kubi to our installed apps. And it's very important, as we can see here, that the Django admin Kubi app needs to be above the django.contrib.admin. So this is your default Django admin app. Now, the reason why Kubi is going to have to be above it is because it's going to override the Django admin with its own unique set of features and styling that's being applied onto the Django admin itself. So this is the reason why it needs to be right above. So what we can do is we can just copy that line of code here. So Django_admin Kubi. We can head on to our Django project, and let's head on over to our project settings.py file. So my project is known as CRM here. So I'm going to click on that, go to settings.py. Then I want to navigate to my list of installed apps here. And here you can see I have django.contrib.admin. So as we can see, we need to make sure that we go ahead and paste in Kubi right above it here, as you can see. So you want to make sure you do just that. So as we can see here, as per the documentation, it needs to be right above django.contrib.admin. So make sure you've done just that. Right, let's continue. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you go on ahead and ensure that the django.template.context processes request context processor is enabled in your settings.py. So what you can technically do is you can head on over to your templates list. So let's go to our templates list here, and let's maximize it here. So as you can see here in our list here of context processes, we have django.template.context_processes.request. So that is the necessary template handler that needs to be in place. Now, of course, we're going to have this set up already by default. So we are working with Django 5. So this is going to be already set for us. So we don't need to manually go ahead and add that in. So just keep that in mind. If you're using older versions of Django, you'll need to make sure that you have that in place. Very important. Next, what we need to do is we need to add in the admin Kubi URLs to our project URL patterns. So what we can do is we can head on over to our project's main urls.py file. So here it is, urls.py. So it'll be in the same directory as your settings.py file. So what we can do is just move that across like so. And you want to make sure that you import the include function here. So from the django.urls module, you want to import include. So parse is usually going to be here by default, but you want to go ahead and ensure that you are importing the include function. And as we can see here, we have the default URL path for our Django admin. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you add in the Kubi URL right above that. So what we can do is we can go ahead and look here at the URL patterns. So it's going to be as follows. So we can just copy this line here. And take note here that it is going to be above the default Django admin.site.urls. We can paste it in like follows. So make sure you've gone ahead and done just that. So we need to add in this URL passing accordingly into place. Right, so we've got that done, and let's go ahead and check it out. So what you can do is head on over now to your Django project, and what we want to do is we just want to go on ahead and create a super user. So if you haven't done so, let's do that now. So we can say Python manage.py create super user. And I'm going to say Arno2. Give the email, add in a password. And there we go. Now we can run our server. It'll just take a moment. There we go, so our server's running. Now let's head on to the admin. And there we go. So here we can see we have the Kubi admin page here. So it's now been styled over our default Django admin page. And as you can see, it has a very clean and nice looking user interface. So let's go ahead and add in our super user credentials. So the credentials that you just created for your super user, you want to add in that username and password here. So let's go ahead and do just that. All right, so welcome back. So as you can see, I've entered in my credentials. Now, there is another thing that we need to do, another step. So please make sure you don't log in just yet. So just make sure you've got your credentials in place and ready to go. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to install the 6 library. So this is going to provide us with a set of compatibility utilities to make sure everything is nice and compatible with our Django versions. So we can go ahead and copy that. We can head on over to our terminal, and you want to install 6. Now, please, I will say again, please don't log into your Django admin without installing 6 because you're going to get an error saying 6 not found. So make sure you've installed it. After you've done so, you can go ahead and rerun your server. So let's do that. All right, there we go. And let's log in. So now you can log into your dashboard, and there we are. So here is the Django Kubi admin dashboard. So you can see here it's quite clean. We can see it's got some decent formatting, very well structured. We can see we have our default authentication and authorization app. We also have our group and user model. We have a custom app here, a custom Django app with the associated customer model, which is also custom. Now we can see here on the left hand side we have our dashboard. That's of course where we log in when we first log into the Django admin. Applications here as a fancy drop down menu, and this is going to provide a list of all of your Django apps that you have created yourself. So in other words, authentication, authorization, of course, is part of a default Django app that is externally installed by default. It's not something that we create ourselves. However, a web app in my case for my project is a custom Django app. So just to give you clarity here, if we go to my project here, I can see I have an app here called Web App, which is a Django app that I created myself, which also has a model, if I scroll here, which is known as customer, and that is seen right under here. So under applications is where all of your custom Django apps will be situated. Under administration is where you'll be able to access your user model, as you can see right here, and also your group model as well, if you have any groups that you have created. Okay. Now, we also see here that we can see the super user that's currently logged in, or the user of sorts that's logged in, and they are, of course, as we can see, an administrator. We can click here. Now, by default, it has dark mode, but we can switch this. So let's go to the dashboard for a cleaner picture. Let's go back to the drop down, and as you can see, as we switch between the dark mode and the light mode, it gives us a very clean and edgy look to our Django admin dashboard. And the good thing here is you don't need to reload the page or anything of the sort. You just toggle this here to make it really simple and easy. And of course, we can also log out, and we can also click here on change password and change our password accordingly. We can just add in the old password, set the new password, and change it as we so desire. Now, something else I want to mention is you can also manage your account. Now, if you are using Django 5.1. So this is the newest Django at the time of the recording for this video. You're going to have to make a change to some of the template coding. Okay, so this is very new. This is just an update that just came in. So in order to make sure we don't run into any errors, we're going to want to make a change. But just to show you the error, so assuming you're on Django 5.1, okay, you're going to run into this error and I'm going to show you. If you're using older versions of Django, you should be fine. So let's just go and have clarity so everyone is in a good position. Now, if you click on Manage Account and it works for you fine and there's no errors on the page, you're good to go. But if, for example, you're going to run into an error, if you're using 5.1 and you're following this video, we're going to run into the error together, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to solve it. So if I click on Manage Account, it's going to say, as we expect, invalid filter lengths underscore is. Now this is just an update with Django 5.1. It's not, the filter is not called lengths underscore is anymore. It is lengths double equals. So it's going to be equal to. So let's go ahead and solve this. So what you're going to want to do is we can head on to our application. Let's close all of this. Let's close that. And you want to head on over to your virtual environment. So here I have venv as my virtual environment. Then you want to go to lib. Then after which you want to head on over to Django Admin underscore Kubi. Then you want to navigate to templates. Let's just scroll down here. So templates. Then you want to go to admin. After which you want to scroll down a bit further and you want to make sure that you go on ahead and you click on, let's see where it is here. Yes, you want to click on includes and then you want to click on field set right here. So there's field set file. Right, now what we can do is look at this field set.html file and all you want to do is you want to replace lengths underscore is. As you can see, that's the error to just the latest and compatible version of the Django 5.1. So you just want to remove the colon and say lengths space double equals. And you want to apply that for the rest here. So let's do that. So we have lengths is here as well. So we can say lengths double equals 1. Remove that. Lengths double equals 1. Lengths double equals 1. Okay, so you want to make sure you've changed those as we can see right here. Okay, so make sure you've gone ahead and set that up. So we can save our file, head on back, and what you want to do is you just want to restart your server as follows. Here we go, so Django 5.1, refresh, and there we go. Good as new. So make sure you've gone ahead and made that tiny adjustment. If you're using an older version of Django, you shouldn't have this issue. But here we can now go ahead and click on Manage Account and manage our users' information here without any issues or whatnot. And we can see here we've got this very nice sort of user interface in place. And let's switch to light mode. And we can see that also looks just as nice. So it's very clean, very efficient, and very to the point. So I feel this is a very nice package in terms of going ahead and styling your Django Admin UI. Now, of course, there are many others, and I've covered quite a few on the channel, but this is just one that I feel is really clean, very sleek, and definitely something I would use myself, I would say, because I really like the simplicity of it. I also like this toggle for the dark mode and the light mode, and of course, everyone has their preferences. I know a lot of people prefer Jasmine, some people prefer Unfold, Baton. Now, there is a huge variety, but I feel Kubi is quite a nice one for sure. Right guys, so that's it for this video tutorial that is going to be focused, as we can see, on customizing our Django Admin UI by using Django Kubi. So that's it guys, and as always, thank you for the support, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.